Hey, so here's me giving back to the book community. I'm going to do a whole bunch of these because I've read thousands of books. I love books, and I'm really starting to get back into books now since I've written a book and it's out there. And obviously you just get so into the whole book industry, or just the enthusiasm that other people have for books, and you start to see how people appreciate your book, and you kind of realize how important it is to have those reviews and feedback, and such interesting things of bouncing things around in other people's brains about what you've written. And also you realize how much you've loved reading and how much you've got out of it yourself. And so I thought I'd start with these 4 books here and just have little bit of a chat about them. 3 of them I've read fairly recently. 4 of them, all of them I've read fairly recently. The first 2 have sold millions, and why am I telling you about books that have sold millions? And that's a good question, and I think I'd really like in the future to talk more about books that are kind of small and independent, because I think self-publishing is fascinating, and I think there's a lot of talent out there that needs to be pushed and to get out, and that I think it's a really interesting thing, the self-publishing world, because there's so much lack of knowledge, there's so much lack of help. There's the big companies kind of dominate things, and obviously most of the books that do really well are doing well because they are fantastic and brilliant. And that's the case with the first 2 I want to talk about today. This one you'll see number 1 in bookshops all around the world. It's a big book. It's a big, fat 700-page book. I read every word, and I've read his first 2 books too. He is a great writer, this guy. He's a very clever guy. I think a lot of you might realize that. And some people, obviously he's polarizing. Some people hate him. I've always been a massive, massive admirer of this guy. Before he became president, I was so hoping he'd become president. And I was disappointed in his presidency to a certain extent. But it's good actually to get his point of view on his presidency, because it shows the actuality of how frustrating it was for him and with his ideals and his practicality to deal with the thing that he was running, the United States of America. And to think that this guy got to run the place for 8 years is just amazing. And I think he did lots of good. And this is like just the first 4 years and the run up to the presidency. But yeah, it's a brilliant read. I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff, but he does it well. And it explains stuff. And if only everybody read it from all sides of politics, rather than the liberals, the enthusiasts, I think it would be just a world-changing sort of thing to get a true understanding of a brilliant mind who was trying to run a country that's kind of poised on this idea of freedom versus doing something for society. So, he's a great writer, and it's a great book. So I'd very much recommend that. This talk is sponsored by this book, written by me, Imagine, which is a fantastic little read. I won't tell you too much more about that today, but it's a good little read. Anyway, we'll come back to that. The second book I want to talk about is this one by Yeonmi Park, In Order to Live. Now, this has sold over 1 million, and it doesn't need more publicity, but it was a great read in that it gave me insight into what really life was like in North Korea, and also it gave me some really good insights into, in this modern world, how horrible women are treated in the worst possible circumstances, being slaves and being traded and being sold. This poor young girl saw her mother raped, and she was traded as a sort of slave through China in order to try and escape from North Korea, and eventually did make it into South Korea. She's an American citizen now, and she's a great advocate for women's rights. And this deserves to have sold 1 million copies because it's a enticing read. Every page is full of adventure and or horror, almost horror adventure, but real horror. And so she's a talented young lady in her 20s, a bit jealous. She's fantastic. So great little read, that one. I'd recommend that. But I'm sure the wheels of her publicity and her book company are doing a fine job selling this book. But it's worthwhile. It's a worthwhile read. One I read a little while ago, and this is Rutger Bregman, Humankind, and it's not a novel. It's not fiction. It's a sort of treatise, I guess, on the theory that humans are actually better than we think. So that the balance between good and evil is actually in the favour of good. And he's got lots of evidence, lots of psychological studies, lots of interesting examples of where humans under stress and under pressure actually do end up doing the right thing. I would love to talk to this guy because so many of the ideas in this correspond to the ideas in this, where you're looking at kind of the best part of nature, or bringing out the best nature in humans. And so another good book I'd very much recommend is this one. If you're interested in having a bit of hope in humanity. And that's very much what the fourth book, which is your sponsored book today, Imagine. And Imagine is based on a very famous song by John Lennon, Imagine. And it's the idea of the book is that it's a series of love stories, a series of travel, disparate geographies that weave together the ideas of Lennon in the song Imagine. It basically gives the author, me, a blank canvas to imagine a world that is at its best. So I feel that this book has hundreds, if not thousands, of suggestions for how the world in practice or in fantasy could be 1,000 times better than it is right now. So it's a great pleasure to have written it. Like, it took me 4.5 years to write it, and I'm just so grateful for the feedback I've had so far, and I'm really keen to learn how to figure out how to become a better writer by getting more feedback, and I'm looking forward to more and more people reading it, and more people letting me know what they think of it. So we'll see. I think I'm getting very, very positive feedback in general. You've got to develop a bit of a thick skin, because like 1 out of 20 reviews is like, oh, and it's like, shit. And they kind of say, oh, I didn't even bother reading it. But it's like, well, okay, maybe you should have read the whole thing. But I guess that's the part of the adventure of becoming an author is accepting criticism and just trying to get better. So I like it. It's my first novel, and I'm very proud of it. And I'd love more people to read it, and I hope more people do. And yeah, the journey of writing it was fun. Lots of sitting down and thinking and researching, and then coming up with all the delicious characters that I could. I love some of my characters in here, and some may resemble real people, but we're not going to go into that. Anyway, enjoy those 4 books. You've got Imagine, you've got Rutger Bregman's Humankind, You got Yeonmi Park's In Order to Live, and you got Mr. Barack Obama's Promised Land. Enjoy.